Jeremiah chapter 50. The word that Yehovah spoke against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Yirmiyahu the prophet. Declare among the nations, proclaim and set up a standard. Proclaim, do not conceal it. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is shamed, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are humiliated, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north a nation comes up against her, which shall make her land desolate, and no one shall dwell there. They shall move, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days and in that time, says Yehovah, the children of Israel shall come. They and the children of Yehudah together with continual weeping they shall come and seek Yehovah their Elohim. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces toward it, saying, Come and let us join ourselves to Yehovah in a perpetual covenant that will not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from the mountain to the hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All who found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, We have not offended. Because they have sinned against Yehovah, the habitation of justice, Yehovah, the hope of their fathers. Move from the midst of Babylon, go out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be like the rams before the flocks. For behold, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall array themselves against her, for there she shall be captured. Their arrows shall be like those of an expert warrior. None shall return in vain, and Chaldea shall become plunder. All who plunder her shall be satisfied, says Yehovah. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, you destroyers of my heritage, because you have grown fat like a heifer threshing grain, and you bellow like bulls, your mother shall be deeply ashamed. She who bore you shall be ashamed. Behold, the least of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yehovah she shall not be inhabited, but she shall be wholly desolate. Everyone who goes by Babylon, shall be horrified and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon all around, all you who bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yehovah. Shout against her all around, she has given her hand, her foundations have fallen. Her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yehovah. Take vengeance on her, as she has done, so do to her. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him who handles the sickle at harvest time. For fear of the oppressing sword, everyone shall turn to his own people, and everyone shall flee to his own land. Israel is like the scattered sheep, the lions have driven him away. First the king of Assyria devoured him. Now at last this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has broken his bones. Therefore thus says Yehovah Tzvaot, the Elohim of Israel, Behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria. But I will bring back Israel to his home, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan. His soul shall be satisfied on Mount Ephraim and Gilead. In those days and in that time, says Yehovah, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought, but there shall be none, and the sins of Yehudah, but they shall not be found. For I will pardon those whom I preserve. Go up against the land of Maritime, against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Waste and utterly destroy them, says Jehovah, and do according to all that I have commanded you. A sound of battle is in the land, and a great destruction. How the hammer of the whole earth has been cut apart and broken. How Babylon has become a desolation among the nations. I have laid a snare for you. You have indeed been trapped. O Babylon, you were not aware. You have been found and also caught, because you have contended against Jehovah. Jehovah has opened his armory and has brought out the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of Jehovah Elohim Tzvaot in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the farthest border. Open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps of ruins, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Slay all her bulls, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their day has come, the time of their punishment. The voice of those who flee and escape from the land of Babylon declares in Zion the vengeance of Jehovah Elohim, the vengeance of his temple. Call together the archers against Babylon, all you who bend the bow, and camp against it all around. Let none of them escape. Repay her according to her work, according to all she has done. Do to her, for she has been proud against Jehovah, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore, her young men shall fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, says Jehovah. Behold, I am against you, O most haughty one, says Jehovah Elohim of Tzvaot. For your day has come, the time that I will punish you. The most proud shall stumble and fall, and no one will raise him up. I will kindle a fire in the cities, and it will devour all around him. Thus says Jehovah Tzvaot, the children of Israel were oppressed, along with the children of Yehudah. All who took them captive have held them fast. They have refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Jehovah Tzvaot is his name. He will thoroughly plead their case, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is against the Chaldeans, says Jehovah, against the inhabitants of Babylon, and against her princes and her wise men. A sword is against the soothsayers, and they will be fools. A sword is against her mighty men, and they will be dismayed. A sword is against their horses, against their chariots, and against all the mixed peoples who are in her midst, and they will become like women. A sword is against her treasures, and they will be robbed. A drought is against her waters, and they will be dried up. For it is the land of carved images, and they are insane with their idols. Therefore the wild desert beasts shall dwell there, with the jackals and the ostriches shall dwell in it. It shall be inhabited no more forever, nor shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighbors, says Jehovah, so no one shall reside there, nor son of man dwell in it. Behold, the people shall come from the north, and a great nation and many kings shall be raised up from the ends of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and shall not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea. They shall ride on horses, set in array like a man for the battle. Against you, O daughter of Babylon, the king of Babylon has heard the report about them, and his hands grow feeble. Anguish has taken him of old, taken hold of him. I don't know how I got the other. Pangs as of a woman in childbirth. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the floodplain of the Jordan, against the dwelling place of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. Who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? Who will arraign me? Who is that shepherd? Who will withstand me? Therefore hear the counsel of Jehovah that he has taken against Babylon. his purpose that he has proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he will make their dwelling place desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth trembles, and the cry is heard among the nations. Wow. Nothing but judgment, but it was like, man, this may sound funny, but it was like poetic. The way that Yah does things and the way that he lays everything out, and how he uses things to fulfill what his will is to be done. And it's like no matter what we do, no matter what we try to say, Mishpachah, no matter any of these things, Yah's will is going to be done. His word does not come back void. What he has declared before the foundation of the earth, no one will ever be able to change that. Much like how so many try to change the word of Yah because they declare something is old and done away with, yet the word doesn't say so. It's like, an article I saw yesterday or day before where it talks about this group of Christians, and they read tarot cards and stuff, and they say even though this Bible frowns on it, it's okay now for believers to use witchcraft to talk to the Holy Spirit and different things like that. And it's like, no matter what, Yah's word's going to be done, and his judgment is going to be poured out. Babylon all along was a empire that was corrupt, full of paganism, full of idolatry. And he used Babylon at one time to bring judgment against Israel for her sins against the Shemitah year, hence her going into captivity for 70 years. Because of her wickedness and because of Nebuchadnezzar and his desire to control the earth and everything, Yah used that to his advantage to bring judgment on Israel. And then because Babylon laid a hand on Israel, once Yah's punishment was over, here we read Yah's punishment on Babylon and the Chaldeans. And all of that was to bring fulfillment to his judgment over both his chosen and against the wicked. And if nothing else, Mishpachah, what we need to stand out to us as we read things like this is that there is nothing we can do to stop anything or change anything. And why people keep trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to the word of Yah is beyond me. But Mishpachah, those of us who have the fear, the reverence, the respect, who do, as Yah says in Isaiah 66, verse 2, on this one shall I look, he who is of a broken heart and contrite spirit, and who trembles at my word. So those of us, Mishpachah, who can't fathom even changing one iota, one dot of the word for fear of Yah's judgment against us, those of us who leave his word alone, study his word, obey his word, follow his word, man, does he got great things planned for us that we just don't even begin to understand yet. So may that be the thing that we get out of this, Mishpachah. Let that be the example. Let the example of those around us who are constantly trying to change the word of Yah, let them be the example of knowing what it is that we never want to mess with, so that we can receive the fullness of Yah's favor and his blessings. Amen. I hope you all have an amazing and blessed day. May Yah fill your home. May he fill your heart with his presence. May his Ruach HaKodesh just blanket each and every one of you. May you tremble at his word, Mishpachah, and be filled with the reverence and joy and the strength and faithfulness of his word and his promises. I love y'all, Mishpachah, but most of all, Yah loves you. Shalom, shalom.